You're up. We've got our special guest. Y'all see who the guest is tonight, right? It's always the opposite. I'm always wrong, right? Right. We'll talk about it. We'll let people, hey, Kevin, how's it going? If you know this lady's name, type it in the room. Let me know you're here. Remember, I have that one rule and one rule only for the live. I don't mind if you lurk, but you got to say hello before you go sit in the corner. I want to know who's here. What's up, men's fireside chat? How are you doing? Everybody come on in, say hello. Let us know you're here. We're getting ready for this.
Hi, Dan.
This is kind of the start where we check. We make sure y'all can hear us, right? We try to fix all our technical issues up front. We got Mountain View 3D. How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for saying hi. Liberty, says Men's Fireside Chat. Sounding good from PA? Nice. Nice. Do you want to say hello to everybody?
Hi, guys. Tammy, Dan, hi. Thanks for coming and supporting.
Yeah, good to see y'all. Thanks for coming in. We'll get things started here in a little bit. We like to give a little bit of time just for people to come into the room. And so we're just going to sit here, kind of have some conversations. I have my questions. You have your questions. So we're going to work together to ask Piper some questions. Now, remember, this whole month of February, we're all about brand new 3D printers. People who are, well, let me say that right. I'm always told not to call people 3D printers, because 3D printers are the things you print things with, right? So people of the 3D printing persuasion is what we're going to call them this evening. And so we're talking to people who've been printing for almost 6 months or less, because some of us guys, like, you know, I've been printing for 5-6 years now. I've got friends who've been doing it for 15 or so, kind of the old heads of it. And the starting 3D printing now is different than it was back in our day. And so this is a good way to just kind of reminisce, but also understand what do these new people coming into the 3D printing space need to succeed, because we want to help them to get to success as quick as possible. And we also want to get to know them and understand what their goals are, and, you know, pick their brains, maybe get some ideas, steal some business ideas from them so we can be successful too. No. But that's what this is about. And so remember the three things that the reason we do this show. We do this show. 1, we want to meet cool people. 2, we want to get to know the content creators and the makers that we enjoy watching online. And 3, we want to expose them to a larger audience. And the larger audience is where you can get involved, because I can't share this out with your friends. You have to share this out with your friends. So make sure that you do the shares, do the likes, do all the things. You know where you are. You know what you can do to help get this program out to the people that you follow. If you know, I'm going to call her Piper all night instead of Allie. That's just kind of how I know her. You know, I know people's online names, not their real names. But share this out and let people know that this conversation is going on. Invite everybody in to come be a part of this conversation, and we'll see how much we can learn about Allie and her starting 3D printing. What's up, Pocket Pals? How are you doing? We got eCutz. ECUTZ 3D Prints. That's a new name. Why do I not know that one?
That's Ernie.
Is that Ernie? Okay. Hi, Ernie. Good to see you. Steve, good to see you. Y'all come on in. We got Nate's Print Shop in here. Oh, Nate's in here. So that triggers the one question we always have to ask everybody, right? So, Allie, what is your favorite ice cream?
Well, like I said, I don't eat a lot of ice cream, but I would say that if I was to choose a flavor, it would be chocolate chip cookie dough.
Very good choice. Very good choice. Now, I know, and since you don't eat a lot, you might not have the answer. Is there a brand that you prefer?
Oh, well, I don't know. Like, I don't eat, like I said, I haven't eaten ice cream for
Right.
many, many years. Like, I do like a low carb sometimes, but I have to say that my favorite was the Ben and Jerry's used to have, and I don't know if they still do, a chocolate chip type cookie dough one that had a core of caramel down the center of it.
Okay.
That, like, I could have just eaten the whole thing.
Oh.
So that would have been my favorite when I used to eat it.
Nate might have the answer to that. Nate, do you know Ben and Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough, caramel down the center? We got Mrs. Grinch agreeing with you on the Ben and Jerry's. So we definitely have that going on. Good to see you, James. Good to see Phantasm and all you guys coming in. I really appreciate y'all being here tonight. Always means a lot when y'all come to the show. This is okay. So Nate says they still have it. He says it's good. And so apparently this is still out there. So That is awesome. But be sure to share this show out. Let everybody know what's going on. I'll do the thank you for the gifts really quick. We'll do the little heart. Which heart do you prefer? Like when you're Allie, when you're doing the hearts, do you do the big heart? Do you do the thumb heart? What do
No, I do
you
the well,
do you
I
do it
don't
at all? You
know.
might not do it at all. You may just like that is
Not
so
too
stupid.
much. No, I just it's not something that I generally do.
I
Sorry.
gotcha. No, it's okay. I have a lot of fun. My Tuesday night shows are like where I get to have fun and go crazy and do the ooh, ooh, that kind of stuff. But we don't do that too much on Thursday nights. But we do get to know people here. Justin, how are you doing? Good to see y'all. Infinite Layer, everybody coming in. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing the show. We'll get here started. Any glitches? What are y'all hearing, guys? How's it sounding? We sounding good tonight? It's sounding good to me over here. I actually have a studio audience tonight, so I'm a little bit nervous. You hear the applause? And it is applause. It's not plural applause. It's singular applause. So good, awesome. Thank y'all for letting me know. We got the thumbs out. Yeah, I know, right? Right. So awesome. Well, look, let's just go ahead. We'll start right at ground level since we're talking about 3D printing and we're talking about getting started and everything. What brought you into the world of 3D printing?
I've always been a crafter. I've always been interested in creating things and that kind like just for many years. I always bounced from thing to thing. You know, I did the rubber stamps, I did the paper crafts, I did the sublimation, I did the beads, I did like just always have done crafty things. Like it's just something I've always done. But I guess about 2 years ago, I started thinking about 3D printing because I was
Okay.
starting to see a lot of the usefulness of it. Now, I have to say that my ex husband had created a 3D printer. He had one of those, like, probably 15 years ago that you would have to buy the parts and put it together yourself and all of that.
Yep. Name it in the room,
And
guys. Y'all know the name of that printer. I want to see the name down there. Keep going. Keep going.
and I at the time remember thinking to myself, why are we doing this? Like, you can go buy things. Like, just like the usefulness of it just escaped me at that time.
Right.
But then about 2 years ago, I really started seeing a lot on social media about people making different things and creating things that were filling a void, for people's lives. And I was like, there might be something to this 3D. So I started thinking about it. Oh, I'd really like to have one. But everything I saw was like too expensive. Like, $1,000. And I'm like, I can't do that for crafting.
Mm,
I was thinking in crafting mode.
yeah.
And then I guess about January last year, I started seeing Flashforge it started coming up on my Facebook feed. Because once you start looking for something, Facebook pushes it to you.
Yeah. If you say the word, you're going to get it. Right.
Right, exactly. And so I thought, I'm gonna look into this. So I looked into it and I found the Adventurer 5M, which is just a small one color printer,
Mhm.
but the price point was like 200, a little over $200. And I thought, this I can do. I can get my foot in the door and see if this is something that I want to do. So in April last year, I finally pulled the trigger. I was like, it went on the deepest sale that I had seen it on Amazon. It was like $219 or something crazy. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I did it, got it home, delivered, and I kind of sat here and was like, now what? What am I? And of course I bought the prettiest silk filament I could, which was not the
Oh
best
no.
choice
Yeah.
for starting. And but things went okay. Like they weren't terrible, but they weren't great. Like they weren't, I was kind of mediocre. I would call myself a mediocre 3D printer at the
Right.
time. And then I just started pushing myself to learn more about it because I don't know if it's like I'm probably on the spectrum kind of personality that is like, I have to learn everything about
Hmm.
all of this now. So
Yeah.
I started digging in and just learning everything I could about my printer and different stuff. And I started feeling better about it. And then I started seeing the 85X on my feed. And I was like, oh, wow, 4 colors. That sounds great. And I was like, no, I can't get another printer right now. I don't have the room. I don't have the money. Da da. And then I guess it was like July of last year, my husband said to me, how much is that 4 color printer you've been talking about? And I told him, and he's like, I'd like to buy that for you.
That's
And
awesome.
I was like, "Oh,
That's cool.
okay." Like, because he had seen the things I was making on the 5M and was like, he started getting excited about it. And he
Yeah.
started to be like, you can make things that are useful. You can make things that are decorative. You can make things like the most, I mean, the thing that is funny, we have Toyota and he does not like how when he pulls into our neighborhood, he takes his seatbelt off and it's very loudly binging at him. And I printed a little thing that he could put into his
Shh, don't
seatbelt
say that
when he
publicly.
pulled into our neighbor. Yeah, like, do not recommend, do not recommend, do not do this.
We are not
And
lawyers. We are not doctors. We are not. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. All right.
and so he puts this little thing in now when he gets, like, almost to the house, and he can take his seatbelt off, and that was, like, the biggest he was just like, "I gotta give these to everybody." I'm like, "Please, I don't wanna be responsible if someone has an accident because they
Yeah.
didn't have their seatbelt on."
Well, and
But
I
he
think
just got excited.
yeah, I think that's the cool thing about 3D printing. Now, it really sounds to me like you say you like the practical printing side. You really like the utilitarian aspects of it. Is that a lot of what you print? What kind of models do you
It's
look at?
Well, it started out that way. It was kinda like, "How can I solve a problem? How can I make this or how can I make that?" And then I started seeing all kinds of things, and I have just gone into a million different directions of
Right.
things. Like, I like like, just all kinds of things. Like, I'm not the kind of person who, like, will hang a 3D printed head on the wall or whatever, that's not necessarily like when I say decor items, but like I think it's the Bath and Body Works soap, covers are neat, like stuff like
Gotcha.
that is fun,
Yeah.
holiday stuff and that kind of stuff. Um, I don't know, I just print like my granddaughters wanted these jewelry boxes that were on Maker World that were like really complex, lots of parts to glue and put together, and I made one for each of them, and they were super happy with that,
Okay.
just, like, super excited. But, yeah,
Okay.
everything,
Okay.
anything and everything,
Yeah.
and so now I have 4 printers.
I get it.
So
And we're going to dig into that in a little bit more in just a second. But guys, I just want to make sure y'all know we are talking to Allie tonight, Liberty in Red, but most of y'all probably know her as Piper. I'm going to say it, not PepperJack, but PiperJack Designs. She has been around online. Now, you started back in April, I think was when you started. So you first printer, say your first printer again.
was in April, it was the
It,
FlashForge
flat,
5M,
right,
yep,
the 5M. And so in April, you've been printing. How quickly after that did you get to the 85X?
August.
August. Okay.
Yeah,
That's not too
August,
bad. You
yeah.
held out longer than a lot of people. You held out a lot longer than a lot of people. I think I had my second printer within 2 months. Um, but now I know you kind of came into a community, and some of them I've seen like you printed some unicorn uh, design stuff or unicorn graveyard. I think you've printed off some of the stuff from there that you've shown off. I think your social channel, Liberty in Red, you do a lot of content over there that is just really just kind of showing off prints, right?
Yeah, like, the stuff mostly that what I've shown of my is prints. Now today I did do, like, a little mini tour of my print room just to show
Okay.
people my printers and what I have. I have things set up a little bit differently than some of the other folks. I don't just have standard 85X, like I run out of dryers and stuff like
Okay.
that
All
I've,
right.
kind of modified. So, but yeah, like I call myself a Flashforge fangirl. So,
Okay. No, that works. That works. And a lot of people talking about your setup, saying they really like the way it looks. That's looking really good. When it comes to social media and it comes to printing, you are 6 months in. What has become your goal with social media? Why did you come to social media with 3D printing? And where are you heading with it?
well, I've been on TikTok for years, but I didn't really put it together with the 3D printing aspect right away. I just like, so I guess it was O October when I lost my dog. I kind of threw myself into 3D printing as a way to kind of distract myself from that. And that's when I started like doing all things 3D printing in
Okay.
my, social media and everything. And that's when I kind of started seeing, like, I started seeking out more 3D printers. And then, of course, you know how they feed you that. And I came across one day a chat alive, and they were talking about Flash Forge printers. And I was listening, and they were trying to help someone with a problem that I knew how to correct. And I was like, hey, that's kind of my thing. Um, can I help? And just kind of got into it that way and started meeting a lot of people through the lives and meeting the community. And the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah. Now, do you do a lot of lives on TikTok? Do you join group lives or do your own lives?
I join groups usually. I've only done a couple lives of my own. I'm not really, I don't know. I'm kind of just getting into that. Like I
Okay.
haven't really gotten into, I don't have a good setup yet. Still feel like I'm trying to get my groove as to how I want to, like TikTok studio and
Right.
all of that. I'm not really super hype on it. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's always when it comes to social media, you really just got to start and go and figure it out along the way. But it sounds like you're definitely active in the community. I mean, I met you through the community, and so you're definitely in there. You're definitely getting to known around the community for the things that you are doing. So you say at this point 4 printers, right?
yes.
She's counting in her head. She's going and she's
I'm
thinking about that
embarrassed to
fifth one she
say.
wants to buy.
Yeah,
So
there's always another one.
which ones? So we know the first two. What were your next two?
I have another
Okay.
85X, a second one that I got in November of last year. And then just about 2 weeks ago, I got a Bamboo P2S,
Okay. Okay. The
which
P2S.
is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing
A lot of
printer.
people enjoy that printer. They really, really do. So you said you bought silk at the beginning. Hold on. And we know silk can be a little bit of a difficult filament to print. Hey, I started with Pet G accidentally, so I started in a bad place as well. I feel bad for the people who started with ABS. But so, what were some of the problems you encountered? How did you power through that? Because I know when you start 3D printing, not having good success at the beginning drives a lot of people away. So, what was kind
Yeah.
of your idea that kept you driving through that and the things you said you learned a lot? You kind of went through that process. Walk us through that.
Well, I'm really lucky because my first couple prints did come out fairly well. They just weren't like perfected to the point where, I mean, you could see layer lines and things. Like I tried to do this one fidget one time, I remember, and it would not stick. And then I tried to do it with uh supports,
Hmm.
and it stuck together and wouldn't fidget, like it wouldn't move. So just like learning how to set my supports up, and the settings for that and all of that. It was a learning curve like anything, but and I think for me, like I see so much misinformation, and I think that really frustrates people too, because if I'm over on Facebook and I see like on a FlashForge Facebook page and I see people saying, "Oh, you need to adjust this and adjust that." And I'm like, "Why? Don't do that." Like it's I see people getting misinformation, and I feel frustrated for them because they're going to do all those things, and then they're not going to get still not going to get their end result. So for me it was like I've got to teach myself. Like I can't count on other people to teach me all necessarily.
Okay.
I've got to go to the wiki. I've got to go like other places because it could be very frustrating. And as far as new printers, people that are new to the printing world, um I would just say to them, do your own research and don't always count on people that are out there to help you in the right way. You just need to learn for yourself as best as you can. I mean, it's fine to ask questions. That's not what I'm saying, but like I just see so much misinformation, and I think it's frustrating when you're trying thing after thing and it's not helping.
Well, so when you encounter that, and that's kind of what I want to get at today, because there's so many of us, and I talk about the old heads, and people in the room don't like when I call them old. So we got to come up with a new word for old head guys, or you're just going to keep getting upset at me for that. But we look at what we went through, and when I say 5 years ago, we were much better than when you talk to people like Nate and some of the other people that have been involved in, and Joel Telling and all those guys who were doing it 15, 20 years ago. There's these different levels. Um, and we know what we had to do and where we went to learn. Where do you start? When do you decide this information is doing no good? I need to go somewhere else. And where do you go?
Well, for me, because I didn't have when I first started, I wasn't in the TikTok community really. I mean, I was on TikTok, but I hadn't hit the 3D printing community at all.
Right.
So for me, I went to Facebook and then I would see, like, I would put in a search on a Facebook page for a problem and I would see 20 different answers. And I'm like, this is not helping me. So I just had to learn to go to like the official page and look at the wiki and look at, um, like, just do my own research basically and not count on people. Like, we were all struggling together basically.
Right.
These were people that were all starting out just like me and just throwing out ideas, and it was like there was a certain amount of frustration. There's a lot of information out there, but is it the right information? So I'm a researcher by heart, like, and I just started looking at all the research and it's like, okay, this is not going to work and this is not going to work. And I just basically had to teach myself
Okay.
how the printer worked. Like, how do I tear it down? How do I, and so, I mean, I just learned it by reading mostly and researching on my own. I know that's not like a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but for some people, that's not how they learn.
Right.
And everybody learns differently, but I just had to push myself if I was going to fix something, if I had a problem. Um, and then
Okay.
there's times when you just can't. You have to ask the question, but
Right.
yeah, I'm just an independent
Okay.
person, I
Okay.
guess.
And I get that. I get that. And guys, I see what you're saying in there. You're failing forward, or every failure is progress. Okay. Bleh. When you're three failures in on a print, who in this room really thinks, oh, I'm failing forward? Oh, this is progress. No, we don't think this is it learning on the back end? Hindsight is 2020, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I like having these conversations though, is because I want to make sure that as we get to know the newer printers, because they're coming into printing in ways that we didn't. Right now, she's unusual nowadays because she didn't start with bamboo. So many people start with bamboo, which is this like boxed experience, right? It's almost that your microwave for 3D printing. It works in general, right? You don't have to work really hard to make it. But now she has an 85X. Her first two machines weren't like these. They didn't just work. She had to do things to make things work, right? And so that's what I want to get into, because us as the OGs, as somebody said in the room, um, we need to make sure that we understand where they're coming from and can help them find that success, right? We are the ones that can say success is progress. She's not sitting there at her printer going, failure is progress. She's going, what's going on? Why is it not working? But we can definitely say it on this side, and she can say it now. But so 4 machines, that's pretty quick. What's the goal here? What are you trying to do? Are we starting a business? Are we looking at selling things? Are we doing a presence online? What are you looking at?
Not really looking to sell things. I've done that hustle years ago. When my kids were little, I had a business doing, I made all kinds of like handmade soap and all that, natural body products and the whole thing. Did the craft fairs, did the online store, did the whole thing. It was a hustle, and I'm now in my almost mid 50s and have a full-time job. I don't like that's I'm over the hustle. Like, I'm over the hump. Um for me, it's like I just love making stuff for my family. I love making stuff for my friends. I just enjoy the whole process of it. Like,
Okay.
sometimes I just make stuff to make stuff because I like how it looks or whatever. In fact, my husband said to me the other day, "What are you going to do with it? Like, we don't have any room for just plastic stuff sitting around." And I was like, "I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put, in a year I'll put it in the recycling bin. I don't know. It's just I wanted to make it.
Yeah.
So it but I mean, I talked about the I mean, you talked about the forward progress, and I don't know like what my end goal is. As I mean, like I said, I'm not going to have a business. I'm not going to do flea markets or sales or markets or anything like that I can see myself in the future. Um I have goals to have a podcast in the future that deals with 3D printing and food, believe it or not, because that's kind of they go hand in hand because we always end up talking about food when we are in talking about 3D printing. Um, and that's really the focus right now for me is getting that together,
Right.
working on that and just continuing to print and have a good time and enjoy it. Like it's just
Okay.
something I do to enjoy it. And like my daughter is a really great artist, but she won't do it for work because she says she will not enjoy it if it's work. And that's kind of how I feel about this. I don't really want to do it for work because
Right.
I'm afraid then it'll be a stressful thing like, oh, I have to meet a deadline or I have to make, 800 of these fidgets for next week or whatever. So that, I just want to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, is this kind of your approach to everything that you've done? I know you've talked about past crafts and everything that you've had. When it came to, what are some of the things that you've sold in the past, or things when you've gone to shows and sold? What kind of things did you do in the past?
Yeah, I mean, all of my crafting for the most part has been for myself.
Okay.
Like, just I'm not. The only business that I had was I did the handmade soap, which was like the
Okay.
natural soap process with lye and the whole thing to make a natural product because
Okay.
I had skin issues, and that's how that kind of stemmed out of it,
Okay.
dry skin and whatnot. So I made all kinds of body butter, and everything was natural and that sort of thing. So,
Okay.
but that's really the only but as far as what I've done in my life, I've had a lot of jobs.
Okay. Do you have like, can we ask about career? Can we ask about normie job? You can always
Yeah.
say no. So give us an idea of your normie job then.
My everyday job right now is I'm a technical catalog creator is my title. And it's a sort of a technical job, but not a technical job. I've worked in the cabinet industry for 15 plus years, and it before that I worked in the dinnerware industry
Okay.
selling dish not selling dishes, but I worked for a dish manufacturer.
So it's your
So,
fault when
like,
I got married that the dishes we did for our wedding went out, like were discontinued a week after our wedding, right? Yeah.
probably if they were Falstaff or Mikasa
I love
or
Mikasa.
yes,
Mikasa is one of my
those
favorite.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, my career started out as I worked in a store, department store, then I worked in a nursing home, then I worked in the medical field for a while, then I switched to like then I was a stay-at-home mom and did the and then I started the dishes when I went back to work, and
Okay.
then I started a cabinet company, and this is the 3rd cabinet company that I've landed with,
Okay.
so
And we might ask more about the technical thing, but so I mean, it sounds like you've done a lot. So school wise, like high school, college, like where did you land on college and everything, majors, all that kind of?
well, I intended in high school to go to college for either art or political science. Those were my 2.
Okay.
But unfortunately, financially, I was not able to go. And then I met my ex-husband and we got married and the work life. And then the kids came and like it just got.
Right.
So when my kids were in high school, I decided to go back and get my bachelor's.
Oh, cool.
So I got my bachelor's in business admin with a specialization in marketing. And that was through Florida Institute of Technology. That was an online course. And then I went to Liberty for business admin with a specialization in leadership.
Okay. Okay.
So,
That's cool. That's interesting just to kind of, so about what age did you go back and work on your bachelor's?
um, in my 40s,
Okay, that's
I
fine.
have
Yeah.
I'll be paying student loans until I die,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I think that's kind of everybody at this point, isn't it? But no, that's cool. That is cool. Um, so my brain keeps wanting to go back to explain what the technical manual thing is. Like, are you writing
Well,
the IKEA instructions for the cabinets or what?
no,
Okay.
thankfully not because, I don't know Swedish anyway. But what I do, so uh, to kind of simplify it, there, and I'm still new to this role because I was only promoted to this role in September, so I
Okay.
still have a lot to learn. But there, when companies and like Lowe's and Home Depot and independent cabinet designers, they have a program that they use to design, and each cabinet company creates basically a catalog module, which is an electronic version of their catalog that those folks import into their program, that allows them to do, which is basically like a CAD program, which allows them to do all of their designing. They can drag a cabinet out and put it on, and then they can do, views of the different, they can turn it, show their
Okay.
customer, this is what it's going to, like a 3D view of what it's going to look like. Um, so we do that back end catalog for the cabinet lines that we carry.
Okay.
And then the other aspect of the role that I have is that, I update the actual print catalogs with new products and new cabinet, like new finishes and door styles and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So
And I think that's where I'm trying to get, as I'm trying to understand kind of like your technical history and kind of where this drive for research and understanding comes from. Because I think it's really understanding, and it sounds like that happens in your job as well, or when you're seeking
yeah.
employment and stuff, you seem to go for kind of the new thing. Is that something that? Go ahead. You have something you
Well,
want to say?
yeah, no, I was going to say, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I didn't work because I was very sick with her. But my husband at the time was starting for investors an internet service provider, which was basically like back then shelves and shelves of modems
Hmm.
and a T1 line,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And so I jumped in and did the role of like a general manager, which was like the accounting and making sure the accounts were paid and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my technical stuff kind of started. But I had already been online because we had internet before it was even graphical.
Mhm.
And I was on the bulletin boards and all of that. So that kind of piqued my interest. I mean, I was in sixth grade when my parents bought me my Commodore 64. So, you know,
TRS
it
80
was,
right here, baby.
oh, okay. You were the Tandy guy
Yeah,
versus me, the Commodore.
I know. Commodores were amazing. They were great when they first came out.
Yeah. So I've always had that, like that technical push. And then I did like some websites and like sort of dabbled in that a little bit, not too much, but some. I could do some HTML and all that back when you actually had to type the HTML and you didn't
Hmm.
just have a program to
Yep.
do it for you, so like that's kind of
Okay.
just always, I've always been interested in the technical stuff.
Okay.
Um,
No, that makes
but
sense. And that's kind of what I wanted to get at. I wanted to kind of understand where that drive to learn and push came from. So that totally makes sense. And guys, just want to let y'all know, just as a reminder, if you're new to the room, this is Allie we're talking to. Some of you may know her as PiperJack Designs over on TikTok. We're talking with her, trying to get to know her, understand why she does what she does, and who she is behind the scenes. I do see your questions. We're getting to them, I promise. So I'm keeping them in my brain, and they're coming. I do. There was one question that's been asked a couple of times as far as prints. What is your favorite print that you've ever done?
oh, that's so hard because I have done so many I can't even think about. Excuse me, think about all of them. Um,
Is there? We talked about the seatbelt one, which was kind of, that's a tricky one.
yeah, my
Getting your spouse involved is always important. If you can do that, every 3D printer is trying to figure that problem out. So that's one problem solved there.
yeah, there's just been so many things that I've like. I mean, every Flashforge printer I've printed the enclosures. Those aren't my
Okay.
favorite things, but they're always a good, like when they're done. I always feel accomplished because like it changes my printer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I do, like, all kinds of stuff, but stuff that has more meaning to me, like, is not difficult. Like, recently I did one of those flags, the crosses with the flags on it.
Okay.
That has a lot of meaning to me. So, I
Okay.
did, a bald eagle, which had a lot of meaning to
Okay.
me as well, like, So just stuff like, usually it has to have some sort of meaning to me as far as what it is. Um, but yeah,
Do you
I can't pick just one.
do you have a gift that you've printed for somebody that meant a lot to you?
Well, like I said, I did the jewelry boxes for my granddaughters, which that was really
Okay.
meaningful because they kind of, my one granddaughter sent it to me and she's like, "Can you make this?" And she didn't think I would be able to do it. And I found the file and I was like, "I can do this." Because it was like 13 plates of stuff, to put it all together. And then I did one for my other granddaughter. And then for my grandson, I did excuse me, he loves Minecraft. So I did these Minecraft blocks, this whole big set of Minecraft blocks. So stuff that I can give to them is always really special to me.
Okay. What was the very first print you ever made?
Excuse me. Well, I don't know if Lucian is in the room, but it was a Benchy.
It's a cover your ears, Lucian. Cover your ears. So it was a
Excuse me, I'm
Benchy.
sorry.
So oh, you're fine. You're fine. Do I need to give you a Do I need to give you a second?
No, I got
Okay. Okay. Ooh. What are we drinking tonight? You got water or
no, it's iced tea with lemonade,
ooh iced tea? Sweet, unsweet.
unsweet.
Okay. All right. So a little bit of an Arnold Palmer there is what we're looking
Yep.
at. Okay. Okay. Well, that's cool. So first print was a Benchy. We've talked about all of those. Guys, keep getting your questions in the room. I am reading them and looking at everything. So we will get your questions answered. We have people asking about print settings and like detailed settings. How technical do you get when you're jumping in these lives and people are asking you, like, do you talk about nozzle sizes and what is kind of your expertise? Where do you consider yourself to be the most knowledgeable?
Well, I think for me, the flash forge stuff is where I really have the most knowledge. The bamboo is really new to me. I've only had it a couple weeks.
Okay.
But like I said, I kind of call myself a flash forge fangirl.
Okay.
So that's sort of my thing. They've been my favorite printers now since I've had three. I will tell you as much knowledge as I have. I'm not going to tell you something I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not going to guess because I, again, don't want to ever give anybody misinformation that's going to send them down the wrong path.
Okay. And that was one of the people said, what's one thing, is there like a piece of advice you could give people for the 85X or the 85M? Like if you wanted to give somebody one piece of advice for that printer.
Stop messing with your Z distance.
Okay.
Don't adjust it. Just calibrate. Calibrate and calibrate. Again, like I think for me, that's the biggest thing is people try to change settings that don't need to be changed on these printers. Just do a good calibration, clean your plate. If you're having issues with adhesion, clean your plate, adjust your temperatures, and calibrate. Like I calibrate my printers once a week.
Okay.
Just even not even just not because they're going bad or something's happening, just because I feel like they need it like once a week. So
Okay.
that's just my advice is
Yeah. No, and everybody
general
approaches that
maintenance and
different.
stuff.
Everybody approaches that differently, right? And so and I think calibrating, I like to clean my printers and keep them clean and make sure the plates are done. I'm the IPA after every print and wash dish soap, and I'm that guy. So I totally understand that. But that's good. Calibrate, check your heat. I think that's important when it comes to adhesion and everything. Now, here's the hot take: glue or hairspray?
Absolutely not.
Neither. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Never ever. Never have. I get that little stick of whatever glue that is that Flashforge sends you with the printer, and I'm like, trash. Like I never have glue.
Mass Studios. Come on, watch it, man. No, I understand. He's like, clean the darn plates, and he didn't say darn. Let's see. Anybody else? There we go. We got Redivi. We got somebody going, don't use either. Use a Redivi.
Yeah, I do use, the red or purple plates in all of
Okay.
my printers,
So you
so,
do have the cold
um
plates, the sticky plates.
yep, cold
Okay.
plates. But even before then, I never used glue or anything like that. I just
Okay.
didn't feel it was necessary. I feel like if you can adjust your temperatures for the most part, you can add a brim if you need it, or, like everything can be adjusted that you don't need to put I just feel like it's introducing something into your printer that doesn't need to be there.
Okay. What is the next material you're looking at? Like right now you do PLA. What
Hmm.
other PET G? Are you doing much PET G?
Yeah. Yep.
ABS? Are you looking at anything
My
else?
Well, my 5M, I pretty much have PETG all the time in there. That's kind of what I use that for parts and different, anything that would need PETG. There's these little funnel like things I print for coffee for my coffee maker, and I've given them to people that have the same, well, it's an espresso machine that's got like the thing in the back, and you have to pull the machine out to fill up the water, and it's really a pain. So I found this little thing, so I keep them running on that. I would say as far as materials, I never felt comfortable doing any of the engineering materials in the FlashForge printers. I know you can, but I don't feel comfortable because I don't feel like the filtration on them is good enough.
Okay.
But now that I have the bamboo, it's definitely something I'm going to explore in the future, is some of those other types of filament,
Okay.
um, that, with better and hopefully TPU really interests me, to be honest. That's
Yeah.
something yeah.
That's really the CPU is gaining traction. It's been really interesting to see what a lot of people are doing with it. Do you have thoughts on what you want to try and do with TPU?
I don't know. Like I've seen some really cool ideas with like phone cases and stuff.
Hmm.
I did see a TikTok. I believe it was Mrs. Fett that did it,
Hmm.
because I have sublimation products as well.
Yep.
She did a sublimation on the plate with taped it, and I don't remember the whole process that she did.
Yeah.
And then she actually printed the phone case right on top of the sublimation and pulled it off, and it was like the print was like right
Yeah.
in the design was like, and it was so cool that how she did it. So things like that are like new processes are
Okay.
super exciting to me. Like, is it going to go for like, is it something that I'll do forever? Maybe, I don't know, but like just would have to try it at least once.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, I get that. I get that. I like TPU. I enjoy printing with it. Um, so in speaking to all these people in the room, we've got a lot of people in the room who are older printers who come into it a little bit differently than you, as far as the type of printers we had, very much on the bed slinger side, early days. What is something when the OG guys are communicating with newer printers? What are some things or thoughts? Do you have any suggestions on better ways to communicate, better ways to help people be more successful as they start? Uh, any advice on that?
I think my one piece of advice would be to be open to what the younger, like, or the newer printer is doing and using. I think that people with a lot of experience are really quick to be like, well, don't do that, or don't use this product, use this product. And they're, for example, filament brands. They may say never use this filament brand because they've had a bad experience with it. And then the next person will say, well, I've never had a bad experience with that. So I think it's really important to be let people kind of make their own decisions about some things, like let them try. They may never have a problem with Sunlu, for example. Just because you had a bad experience with one roll of Sunlu doesn't mean that somebody else is going to have it. And I feel like they're too quick to tell people don't do that, don't use this or don't use that, or judge people because they're doing or not doing. Like, I don't use glue, like I said, but I'm not going to judge you for using
Yeah.
glue. Like, do what works for you.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. So I think that kind of attitude would be helpful in the, because people are going to do what they think is best for them, and just be supportive. I would just like to see our community be more supportive of everything and all the what people are
Hmm.
doing, whether you necessarily agree with it or not. If it's working for somebody else, let them do it.
Yeah. I gotcha. No, and that makes total sense. That makes total sense. So, as somebody who's been printing for 6+ months, what is something you wish you had known when you started?
It's not plug and play. Your machine's not plug and play. It's you can't just buy it and plug it in and it's going to run the same all the time. It's going to require maintenance. It's going to require adjustments. It's you're not going to have a great print every time. I mean, I see people that have been printing for years and they're like, "Well, I had a failed print," you know. And believe it or not, when they share their failures, it's good for me
Hmm.
because I feel like, okay, they know what they're doing and they still have an occasional failure. So I'm doing all right, you know, like so share your failures. You know, it's okay. It's okay to be like, "Hey, this didn't work out."
Yeah. Oh, we have a lot of people agreeing with that. Not plug and play. No, I understand. Can't use just a smartphone and hit print. I can. I just got a Centauri
No.
Carbon 2 and it works great. No. No, but that's cool. No, that's very good advice. And I think that's smart. Do you have your eye? I know you just bought the PS2. Do you have your eye on any other printers right now?
Oh, maybe an H series at some point, but
Okay.
that's going to be down the road, you know. Like I'm kind of full right now,
Hmm.
so I don't really have space at all. I kind of really jammed in. In fact, I bought another AMS2 Pro for my P2S and I have no idea how I'm even gonna where I'm even gonna put it. So at this point I'm like I'm gonna be stacking printers on top of each other, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, probably an H series. I really am appreciating the bamboo line and the ease of using it
Hmm.
has been great. Um as Skooma likes to say, I'm bambougie now.
Bambougie.
So
That's great. What moved you towards bamboo? Because I know so many
I did a
people, like I'm a Prusa guy. I started off Prusa. I pick bamboo. I'm printer agnostic, even though I do love my Prusas. But so many people, you hear people, no, don't go bamboo, or you have bamboo people. All I do is bamboo, and so there's always those kind of discussions of moving back and forth. It's almost the Apple Android argument, right? What
Yep.
took you that direction?
Well, I had the thankfully I had the benefit of being already in the community and I could ask a lot of people. And without dissing any brand or not, what was important to me was customer care. And I seem to see more people saying that bamboo customer care would take care of them.
Okay.
Even if it took a little bit longer, whatever, you know, there's time differences and other countries involved and all of those things, but they would send the parts and they would fix it. And that was important to me because it was like, I'm not a rich person and I'm making an investment in a printer. I need to know that they're going to back it if something goes wrong with it.
Right.
So that was really the one of the biggest. And then, I mean, I wanted a bigger build plate. So I did get that. And I wanted to be able to expand past 4 colors, which was, you know, there's other lines that could have, like Creality could have done that, you know, and that whatnot. That's kind of why I had to get away from Flash Forge was because there's no expandability. They have the Creator 5 coming out next month, or April.
April.
But again, it's a tool changer. It is not there's no expansion for more than 8 colors. So that like I can't get excited about it, even though it's Flash Forge,
Yeah.
because it's not going to suit like what I was looking to do.
Gotcha. Have you ever thought about getting into resin?
I have. I don't feel like the workspace that I have is conducive to it because you know it's sort of messy,
Hmm.
and I'm in like a my home office basically, and I don't necessarily have a sink and all that here to clean up and you know all the things that I think that are probably necessary for that. Plus the safety issue of it kind of scares me a little bit, but maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Okay. Okay. No, that's
I know
cool.
that detail is amazing
Yeah.
in you know figures and stuff that you do with the resin.
Yeah, it is. And they always hear me. Resin is the future. I think it beats FDM in 5 years. But anyway, it'll be a different bird by then.
Possible.
I get the mess. I totally understand that. But guys, we are sitting here talking to Allie. We're just learning about her. She's been printing for a little bit over 6 months. Actually, we're getting close to a year. If you started in April, we're getting close to a year now. And you know, we're excited this month just to be talking to new 3D or new people of the 3D printing persuasion. I'm not calling them 3D printers anymore, but just to find out, what experiences they're having, how quickly they're getting to success, and how us as older people who have been in the 3D printing space for a while, how can we help and be a part of helping them find that success. So if you have any questions, guys, if you have thoughts, suggestions, please get your questions into the peanut gallery. We're about 15 minutes out from ending the show, and I appreciate any input you have. Thank y'all so much for being here. Trying to think where I want to go now. There's so many different ways to go because I'm interested in a lot of the hobbies that you talked about. Some of the things you did prior to 3D printing, because I think most people, and don't tell them in the peanut gallery, I think most people in 3D printing have some ADHD or might be on that little spectrum side of things. All right. So we all try a lot of things. So I'm always interested in seeing what other people do. So what are some of the other hobbies you've been a part of?
Oh gosh. I mean, crafting hobbies or just hobbies in general?
Hobbies in general. We'll go anywhere.
I okay. I lost my parents at a fairly young age. I mean, my mother, um, I was 22 when she passed away. And I kind of just took this view of my life to just jump in and do things. Like, you can't just like wait, like, you have to just take the risk. And so I've always done things that some people like. I mean, riding a motorcycle. Had my own bike. Um, Used to do like a little bit of ghost hunting, kind of that kind of thing, scary for some people kind of stuff. I just kind of jump in and do, and along the lines of the maybe on the spectrum thing, when I would do it, it was all in, that sort of um I mean, both of my kids are on the spectrum and they're adults now, but like completely, I'm sure they get it from me. I'm sure would be not surprised if they would say it's hereditary because I'm just like I immerse myself in whatever I'm doing, generally full in. Um so that was, and then for a while I was really um I worked a little bit with Greyhound Rescue because I've rescued for greyhounds from the tracks, and or adopted for greyhounds from the tracks. So that was like my, not my hobby, but it was like my all in for a while, was
Right.
working with the greyhounds. And so yeah, I would just like say, don't wait to do what you want to do in your life. Just do it. Just jump in. And every year I used to do the polar bear plunge, and it
Wow.
was just like, just do it. Just jump in the water and do it. Like, that's what you have to do. I mean, it
Woo.
would be January in the Susquehanna River
Yeah,
up in
I know.
Pennsylvania,
Hmm.
and we would just jump in, and
That's crazy.
it was for charity, and you just do it. Like, you don't stand there at the water and look at it. You just go in, and if you don't like it, you get out.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I remember, I'm a Mississippi boy. I remember watching on TV people doing that. I'm like, they are crazy. But that's it. You gotta have a little bit of crazy in you to do that, I think.
Admittedly.
But well,
But
and even
don't tell anybody that's watching, because
I know,
they'll
right?
never let me live it down.
Um, and even the motorcycle. So when you say motorcycle riding, are we talking like cross country type stuff? Are we talking tracks? Are we what kind of?
No, like, I mean, I had a Sportster 883 of my own for a little while, and then lots of passenger princess riding. I had a spinal fusion a few years ago, not related to motorcycle riding, but I kind of didn't ride my own, after that, because of just not feeling comfortable with the strength that I had in my arms and shoulders and stuff. But yeah, like, if I can be on the back of a bike, that's my happy
That's
place.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
So,
I'm part of a company that makes aftermarket parts for bikes. That's one of the things that I prototype with. Mantistech.com for any of you that want to know. But it, I don't ride. I rode a lot of bikes when I was young, and mostly dirt bikes and that type of stuff. But it's always fascinated me, and Currently, I'm unable to buy a bike, but I think it would be interesting. I really did. Did you travel anywhere interesting when you were riding?
No, no cross country, but I lived in Pennsylvania, and every year for September 11th, we would go from like Harrisburg or York area to Shanksville
Okay.
and do the memorial, look at, visit the memorial there on September 11th, and it was about a 4 or 5 hour drive there
Okay.
and back. So you're spending pretty much the whole day on a bike,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and but no iron butt challenges for me or anything like
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
I don't know that I could do that. I love driving. I love going cross country, but I don't know I could do it on a bike. That would be that'd be a rough one. Um, so what other so currently with 3D printing, are there any other hobbies that you're kind of doing side by side right now? Or is it just like all in 3D
um,
printing?
No, I mean, I still do some sublimation, like
Okay.
tumblers and that kind of stuff on the side, like mugs and stuff like that. I still have all my supplies and everything, and I do
Okay.
that kind of as needed. I kind of have, but again, I don't sell. Usually it's like, hey, can I make you a mug or I'll send you a couple or whatever. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't like,
Hmm.
it's just something fun that I enjoy. Um, but for me, just like giving stuff to people is like, that that makes them smile is really all that I need.
Oh, I
But I
think
know that
that's
doesn't
awesome.
work for everybody. Some people gotta make money, I get it.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I get it. I think that's fun, and so much of that is what I do. I don't make money off prints. I give most of them away, but it's just finding something that can excite somebody else is a lot of fun for me. So
Yeah.
I totally get that, and I'm getting into sublimation myself right now. I've been doing that. I just got the Eufy Make E1 resin texture printer. That if you watch Tuesday night, I was playing with that, and so I'm getting into some other hobbies. So I'm interested in what other people are doing right now. Any future thoughts on other types of machines versus 3D printers? You looking at any other stuff?
I've always wanted like a laser engraver type machine, but just never pulled the trigger on it. So
Okay.
maybe someday that would be something that I would like to do.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for being here tonight, guys. You got 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna end the show and everything. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you being here tonight, Allie. Before they get their last questions in, I'm gonna ask you if you have any last words, anything you want to say to everybody here.
Just be kind to one another, be good humans.
Yeah, I like that. That that goes with my little post I did in Discord the other day. Anyway, that's awesome. Guys, be a community, have fun. We've got a lot of different things coming up here. I'm watching while you're getting your questions in here. March 20th, we've got another virtual wine and paint. So that sign up is going to be coming the first week of March. We actually have Unicorn Graveyard is providing the model that we're painting for that, and you'll be seeing that over the next couple of days. We're working on getting our painter. Steffi, you're in the room. Who's our painter? It's Slam, right? Is that who we decided was going to be doing it? Slam? Let me know. Put that down there in the chat so we can make sure. And so that's going to be March 20th. We're going to be, that's going to be 8 p.m. on that Friday night, March 20th. The sign up will happen. So keep paying attention to this channel. Pay attention to the Discord. Just as always, jump into the Discords. There are a lot of different communities. There are a lot of different places to be. Great conversation, great places to get help. There's a lot of servers that give things away, have fun. It's just a great place to be when you're not hanging out over here on TikTok. I'm looking, da da da. Don't tell her. I'm not seeing Steffi's message here. Maybe she'll send it to me on Discord. I'm watching my Discord screen right now. But yeah, 3:20, 8 p.m. Virtual wine and paint. We're going to be painting the models. And that's really the things that are happening right now. We don't have a lot of classes for the rest of this month. We do. I just talked to Bearded Prince today. We're going to be working with Fusion 360. He's going to do a class next month. So watch for that date as well. Let's see. Yeah, Slam 3D is who it is. No more questions. All right. Well, thank you so much for
They
being
all
here.
know me.
I know they know you. You talk to them all the time. I understand. I understand. But thank you so much for being here tonight. And
Thanks for having me.
this is going to be available if you want to send your friends over to YouTube. It'll be over there for the rest of your life. People will learn to be able to watch this and see what's going on. So thank you. I'm going to drop you back to the green room, close out the show, and I'll come talk to you when I'm done. All right. Thank you. Everybody say bye. Thank you. Thank her for being here. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I really appreciate y'all being here. You know, without y'all, the show would not be possible. It would just be me I guess I could do it, but nobody would ever see it, right? I'm glad you're here. Thank you for sharing this out. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for just being a part and getting the questions and helping me learn more about Allie. Hey, thank you for my studio audience. I actually have one tonight. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. Remember, guys, every Tuesday night and every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we are live here with Asylum Life Makes. And we're always trying to learn. We have the 3 things that we talk about. We want to live life to the fullest. We want to grow in wisdom, and we want to show what we have learned generously. You guys have a great night. See y'all next Tuesday. I'm out.